All right. I don't know if I have any viewers yet. I don't think I do. But I record all these for posterity, so it'll be on YouTube later. Anyway, after a not so brief distraction from this game that I've been working on for the past almost a year now, I'm back at it. For the past couple weeks, I've been using the new library I wrote. I've been writing since, gosh, I don't know, September maybe? No, June. Yeah, I think June or September. I forget exactly when I started. But I have been developing a series of single header file libraries that help in game development. You can find the link in the description of my Twitch profile if you're interested in that. Today I'm going to be implementing a memory viewer that will help me find where my memory usage is going and keep an eye on that. So that's today's goal. And that's going to be part of the library itself. So I'm going to add it to the debug stuff here. All right. So, and it's early in the morning here. It's a little after 7. A bit tired. So forgive me if I'm not the most talkative or coherent I could be. All right, we got the profiler here. This is kind of what I want to copy from. All right, we got that. We'll just put this right under the profiler. Sweet debug memory. Memory inspector. Okay. I'm going to need a way to keep track of the various memory arenas. All right. Debug memory display. We will let's support a maximum of 32. I think that's plenty. I have to do the rendering here. Yes, I should keep track of that. Go to suppose. Memory display input mouse. Okay. inspector. And let's get rid of this. I don't think I need that. And I'm going to need to add another public function. Void ZTP debug main inspect add row. Remove ring. I need to let's do this under just keep it like that. Okay. And we will do count. Oops. Alright. Let's do the name here too. Alright. It's going to be inspector. Okay. Memory. Mem. And then let's do zero false 0. All right, there's that. Let me go ahead and add this to oh no, I need that function name. All right, that should get us a window. Or it gets us a bunch of compile errors. Oops, that's why I don't need that. Total memory inspector. Whoa, oops, I forgot to do a break. Memory inspector. Alright, I got my window. There's nothing in it just yet. We've got to go back up here. Need to add a couple of things. One is we need, let's do this up here, mem arenas, count plus equals global arena. So global is going to be our first one. All right. We should add aliases for these. Okay. Alias. And up here we need arenas, we need aliases. We need 32 of them. They're going to be a maximum of 64 characters long. And then I will just do this instead. And I'm going to have to, oh, I'll need to do this afterwards so that doesn't get screwed up. Let's see. All right, I need to get at that one. Let's give this a name. Define debug inspector. ZT debug name. That'll work. We create the panel. Inspector right there. GUI item set. That. Hello, Eklund Style, how are you? Let's see. Good item. Find that name. Window. Open inspector. And we'll do that later. Alright, if inspector, if we have it, then I need to ZT memory, no, ZT debug memory, ZT debug memory, inspector.functions.user data. Okay. The search return on fail that arenas count is less than means of arenas. Otherwise, arenas count equals arena aliases. Project's going well. I just haven't been streaming very long today, and I'm starting on a new memory inspector for my library that will let me see all the allocations in my game, see where they are in memory, and where they're allocated at. I'll be able to inspect the actual contents of the memory as well. I've got a custom allocator, so I'm not using new, delete, or anything like that. I use Malix. I use memory arenas, so I allocate the bulk of the memory I'm going to be using for the game at startup, and that's pretty much all I have. So it's important to maintain good memory usage. When I was implementing map loading and saving, I realized I was losing a little bit of memory each time, and I don't know where it went. Yeah, that's a primary goal for this, is to be able to see where the gaps in the memory are, so that I can split things up properly, so that I don't end up with tiny little gaps. Because my memory system does try to consolidate memory. It keeps a linked list of every allocation you make, and if there are two allocations that are free next to each other, combines them. But what I think's happening is that I'm getting a bunch of small empty memory areas that can't be combined, and I need to figure out where those are and eliminate them if possible. So I don't, because I mean, right now you can load and keep loading like 100 times. You won't lose a lot of memory, but I'm sure there's going to be cases in the future where I have more significant gaps that I need to be able to inspect and make sure that they're not a problem. Where am I? I hope that was coherent and made sense. Alias. And then alias. All right. Now I need to add a combo box. Oh wait, no. The size is going to be a parent of this. My bad. Max items, the elements of aliases. Alright, go away. My stupid phone is reminding me of something that's not really important right now. Oh yeah, me too. I've been really working on my library for, since, gosh, I think last June. I've been doing a lot of tool work. I want to be able to easily diagnose and easily fully understand what's going on in my program. So I've been really focused on debug functionality. And I think it's paying off. This is something I've been wanting to add for a while. I just haven't been able to get to it yet. Yeah, I'll show you how that works. Let me get this these GUI elements created and added first, and then I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I have my combo box. We need to I'll just, yeah, there's no point in doing it there. I'll just combo bots. Whoop, I hate when I do that. I'm always hitting Control A when I go to hit Control S to save. It drives me nuts. All right. So I need a function refresh combo. Let's find out which one is selected. Get item text. We'll do that. So, yeah, I'm using primarily a C style of programming. I use the C++ language for some of the features it has over C, such as function overloading. I use some operator overloading with some math types like my vectors and matrices and quaternions. But primarily I like to just avoid templates, avoid classes, things like that, the object-oriented stuff. I've found that just adds complexity to your program, and macros can really clean things up. Like over here with my function pointers, my library supports compiling the code while the game is running. So function pointers are tricky to deal with when that happens. If you have a function pointer within a DLL and you reload the DLL, all those function pointers are invalid. So with my system, I have I keep an array in memory of function pointers that are refreshed when the DLL reloads. And the app itself just keeps basically a hash map of the function that is used to index into that array. So I can reload the DLL, but still access these functions. And in order to do that, I've had to do some tricky function. But I don't know if this shows up. Does that show up on the stream? But it just makes it cleaner, easier to parse visually, and it saves a lot of time when you're coding. Yeah, I use a Unity build, so my builds are very quick regardless. I can do a full rebuild in like 3 seconds. But just being able to get the game to a state that you need to test something and change something, and then just make the code change, go back to the app. I use Control-Shift-Alt-B for my build command, and it just rebuilds and you see the change instantly. It is such a time saver, rather than closing the application, making the code change, starting your application back up, getting the game back to the state you need it to be in to test the change you just made. See it doesn't work, close it down, and start the cycle over again. It's just so much nicer. It was a lot of work to set up in the beginning, but it's over the lifetime of this project alone, I think it's going to save me hours and hours of work. All right. Okay, cut that, and then I need to call this first combo nim, and then that's it. I'll do all this stuff later. You know, while I'm distracted anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just go over the memory allocator for you. Memory arena. So essentially I call them arenas. It's basically just a chunk of memory. Let's see. I've probably got my primary game library, the ZT game.h, is 31,000 lines of code. My GUI library is 10,000 lines of code. I've got a tool library, which is 14,000 lines of code. So I've probably got, with all the game code and a couple of the other libraries, probably close to 100,000 lines of code here. And let me see if that code I wrote would compile. Let me just get this into a state where it will compile. Come back to it. And this is compiling two projects. The loader executable that loads the DLL, and then the DLL itself. And I will start a full rebuild right now. So we'll rebuild. There you go. That's approximately 80 to 100,000 lines of code, which is not insignificant. Now, true, it's not a 3-4 million line of code base, but a lot of the time spent in a compilation is the linking process and just file input output. So with a Unity build, you don't have that. All the compiler compiles one file, one C++ file, and it's so much faster because it doesn't have to reference a bunch of other files. It doesn't have to link several object files together. It's just, I'm very happy that I went this way, and it's working out great. So I would highly recommend it if you can. My day job involves, I don't know, it's like a 400,000 line productivity app that's written in object-oriented programming. It uses templates. It uses, hundreds of C++ files, and it takes about 12 minutes to do a full compile on my computer, which is it's not a slow computer. I've got 8 cores using multi-threaded compiling and everything. It's just, this is so much better. Let's go. Give it a try. I think if you're able to convert your projects to a Unity build, you'll be happy with it. But anyway, here's my memory arena. I have just an array of bytes, which is the memory we use. Keep track of total size. I keep track of how much is currently being used. The peak amount that was used, the number of allocations, the number of frees, and then freed allocs is how many empty allocations do I currently have in the system. And then I keep a list of allocations. I keep a magic number to just verify that things aren't corrupt. A pointer to the start of the memory, the length in bytes, just a flag of whether or not this particular allocation has been freed by the program, and then an allocation index, which lets me debug and find leaks easily, a pointer back to the arena, and then the file name and the file line for debugging purposes, which actually doesn't work very well with the DLL, and I'm going to be changing that today. And then a pointer to the next allocation. And when I allocate from an arena, the first thing I do is I align it by bytes, pointer size, which 32-bit is 4 bytes, 64-bit is 8 bytes. So I make sure the entire process is aligned by that. Then I call a validation call, which basically just cycles through and make sure everything is as expected. Helps me find memory problems, memory corruption, pretty quickly if it ever happens. If I have free allocations, then I will loop through the list, and for every freed allocation, I'll check if the length of that allocation is greater than or equal to the number of bytes I need this time. Then I will go through and use that one if it is, and split it. So if, say, I need 100 bytes and I have a 1 megabyte chunk here, I actually split it into two. One being the 100 byte chunk I need now, and then the remainder of what was left, so I don't lose anything. If I can't find an allocation, then I go to the end of the currently used memory and make sure I have enough room. If I don't, then I return null. And I just do it that way. And when I have a little conditional break here, I log at the end, I do a dump of the arena, and if there are any memory allocations that haven't been freed, I will log these, and then I can just set a breakpoint, and it will take me right to that allocation. All right, and I support reallocation. And when you free, it verifies everything. And then it goes through, consolidate any sequential allocations that might exist. And then it just goes through, if there are two allocation objects right next to each other that are both freed, it consolidates it to one. So you don't have like multiple free allocations, smaller free allocations next to each other. You can consolidate it into one large one that can be reused more easily. And that's pretty much it. I use a bunch of macros, which I don't use malloc, I don't use free. I use these for everything, which basically you can pass in an arena to use, or if you don't, it uses through global arena, which is a stack of, which is basically just an array of arenas that is treated like a stack. So for instance, if you create your global arena, which is the primary one that your app uses, and then like say when I go to initiate the GUI, I can push a smaller arena on the stack that the GUI will use. And then, so I can allocate like 32 megs to the GUI, and that's all the GUI can use, and all the GUI allocations and things will be within that arena. And so forth, like asset loading, I can allocate so many megs for that. It helps keep things separate. Right now, I haven't been taking advantage of that feature, which is kind of why I'm using this and making this inspector today, is because I want to be able to see where I can more efficiently use subarenas. And this sets the file in line, but like I said, this really doesn't work very well with the DLL hot loading, so I need to change how that works. Hey Coder, how you doing? It has been a while. Gosh, since probably November since I last streamed. Right here. Hopefully this will work. Yeah. You can check out the library. It's public domain. You can do whatever you want. If you want to blatantly copy and use it as your own, I don't care. So help yourself, and feel free to ask me any questions. I'm on Twitter, so go ahead and tweet at me. Yeah, I made my own game engine. I started, this has been about 2 years now. I started working on it. I converted from Unity to C++, because when I got back into game development back at near the end of 2013, I started using Unity and then kept running into walls with Unity and restrictions that I didn't like, so I decided to go ahead and write my own So I wrote a game that was bundled in with, or a library that was bundled in with a game I was working on, and then decided later on I wanted to be able to more easily use the framework I was building in a variety of projects, and I decided the best way to do that was to use single header file libraries. So then I spent it's been about 9 months part-time now developing my libraries. Can I show something? Yeah, absolutely. This is the game I'm currently working on, which is a hospital simulation game, similar to Prison Architect. Let's see. I just adjusted my... Hold on a second. Let's save this. I need to fix that. My window reloading or window resizing doesn't work very well. Let's see. We'll add a waiting table there. Oops. That little wall here. Oops. Put a TV up there. Put coffee station on the other side. Magazine racks. Chairs. You get the idea. Thank you. Yeah, I've got a UI. I've got significant. I've got tree controls. I've got debug console. And these are all everything up here. I've got debug variables, so I can like change things. I can highlight which cell it's over. I can draw the grid. I can turn off the scenery or the terrain. There's a spacing bug here. But yeah, I've got a lot of. Yeah, I've even got a profiler, so I can see. You know, I need to make this more GUI friendly, but it's in there. You got a texture viewer, so I can view all my textures. Oh, there's a render texture. That's kind of trippy. You know, the textures I use for the terrain, and then the tiles. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of hard work. GUI especially is tricky to write. So, but it's worth it. This is going to be an engine I want to use for probably the next 20 years. So, taking the time to do it right. Let's see. C# or Unity. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with using Unity. I don't think anyone's a lesser developer because they use Unity or whatever. I mean, use whatever works. I use Unity, but when I started working on my C++ stuff was back before Unity was free. Like Unity 5, I think it was, introduced the free version. So you couldn't use like render textures or effects and things like that without paying $1,500 per platform. And I really didn't want to do that, so I decided to write my own. And then I learned about OpenGL. I learned about DirectX. This library supports both OpenGL and DirectX. Right now there's a bug, but I can show you. I just change this to DirectX, and now it's using DirectX. But there's a bug. I mean, it doesn't draw my vertex arrays. I don't know why. Oh, somebody subscribed or followed, and it's not showing me who. Let's see, who was that? It does handle 3D. I'll load up a program I was working on. Pardon the large screen. I have a 4K monitor, and I have the other instance of Visual Studio resized to match. This one's taking a little bit longer to compile. All right, is that working? Yeah. So I was working on. Come on. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. I was working on FBX loading, which, as you can see, I did not leave it in a functional state, but it does work. Let's load this up again with a different model. Let's do the apples. I think that'll work. No, those are too big. Let's just use an OBJ instead. I think the OBJs work. Yeah. So yeah, I do 3D. I've got some physics, not a whole lot. I've got a custom shader language, which lets me write. Let me open up a project. Let's find this. That's the output of one. There's the GUI shader, which basically lets me write it once and it'll generate the GLSL or the HLSL, depending on if I'm using OpenGL or DirectX. And in the future, if I want to support Vulkan or Metal or whatever, I can relatively easily add support for it without disrupting the library itself too much. I appreciate it, guys. But and I'll tell you the secret to this. The secret to this is not using open or object-oriented programming, because a couple years ago I tried to write. I just wanted to dabble with my own programming language, and I was writing an abstract syntax tree generator, and I was using object-oriented programming, and it was just it took weeks to get to the point where I even could generate a partial abstract syntax tree, but using procedural techniques and not worrying about object-oriented rules and things like that, I was able to write a complete shader language, parser, and it validates types and does as much syntax verification and that as I can, and it took me like a week to write, and that's working. I think I spent maybe 6 hours a day on it, so it's not like it took forever or anything. Yeah, I actually started. I started back in '92 with Basic, GW Basic. Then in '94, I started dabbling in Visual Basic, and in '95, I started teaching myself C and C++. Did Power Builder professionally for a handful of years, and then I was always doing my personal projects in C++. And then for the past 14 years, I've been lead developer on a software company I started, and we used exclusively C++ on our end. And then, a couple years ago, I wanted to get back into game programming, which I sort of got out of back at the end of the 90s because of, just life happens, and I was too busy with my regular job and everything. But so C# was not where I started, but I guess my rekindling of interest in game development started with C#. I wouldn't say I beat the Source engine. I mean, as far as 3D functionality goes, it's still got a long ways to go before I could actually make a full 3D game. It's not optimized or anything yet. It's better suited for 2D at this point. Oh, the custom shader language. I will say, it doesn't have exhaustive support for all the OpenGL and DirectX features, but as I need more functionality, I add more functionality. So, as I need more features, I'll add them as I go. Yeah, I got 14 years on you. C++ is harder, mainly in regards to you've got to keep track of memory yourself, and you've got to understand pointers and what they represent. But I appreciate it more than C#. I like having that control. I like being able to do things the way I want them done. If I want to do crazy memory stuff, I can, and I do. I've done it in this engine. All right, let me get back to where I was. All right, here we go. All right, so we got the combo box. We will add a refresh button. Let's do 0 padding. That should give me. Oops. Oh, that's right. Oriented. Orient. Horizontal. Size to parent. False. I'll leave that one alone. And no problem. And like I said, the source code is public domain. Do what you want with it. Whoop, that did not work how it was supposed to. Oh, that's why. Because this is supposed to be vertical. There we go. Need to make that larger. Combo box size.x equals, we'll make that 3 units. I use virtual malloc, virtual memory. Oh, that's not what I wanted. All right, there we go. So now I've got that. Let's start. That needs to be inspector window name. Yeah, I would recommend using virtual memory. I haven't used Linux much. I've dabbled with it through the years, but I've never actually really dove into it and tried to develop for it. Although I do intend to, eventually port my library to it. Okay, that compiles now. All right, so let's put combo box get selected. Combo box. Right. So we got the selected text. And we need to combo clear. Clear the combo box. Then loop through. That I need to add a new callback. Display combo selected. GUI combo box item selected. All right, got that. Let's fox set callback. Oops, combo box. Function ID, and we will make that the user data. Select 0 if string equals selected text. Okay, this is to select. Well, that's not how I want to do that. Whoops. Do I really not have a way to set the selection? It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think I do. Alright. Do add function to set combo selection. I'll do that later. It's not that big a deal right now. Okay. Hi Dante. I don't know who you're calling Dad, but thanks for joining me here. All right. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I've got my global arena there. That's what I expected. Let's see if adding another one. 2, 3. To make sure they all get added properly. Yep, there they are. Oh, somebody followed. Alpha, thank you for following. And forgive me, the 2 people who followed earlier that I didn't catch. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I apologize for missing it. All right, so get rid of those. Let's just make a function. So let me test something. I'm still in DirectX. I need to get back out of there. Back to OpenGL, that works fully. Somebody else. Sarcastic Dante, thank you. Give me 1 second here. I need to respond to a text. Now I've got to send my wife a text. All right. All right, good. So it doesn't fire that event when you set it. I do not know who you are. I am not your dad. All right, let's get back to the GUI. There we go. All right. So now I need a void debug memory display. Refresh. Okay. Well, let's just pass in this so I don't have to get it. All right, so we do So let's just do int active arena. When you do this, this needs to be active arena equals selected. All right. I don't know. All right, yeah, let's do it this way. T draw list. Maybe I don't want to do it that way. How do I want to draw this? Well, let's just do it the inefficient way to start with. Okay. So, Pasta, thank you for following. Yes, I am a husband and a dad and a programmer, but I am not your husband or your dad. I am other people's husband and dad. Okay, I need to be able to calculate the size of this. I need to put this in a scrolled container, which is kind of buggy. So let's just we'll do it in the size we have. All right, back to size equals item size. Is that what I call it in here? Yeah. All right. All right, now I've got, how am I going to do this? I'm going to loop through every allocation in the arena. It might be easier to put this over here for now. All right. So let's do current used equals, well, let's get a pointer to the arena. This is one negative thing about using single file headers is sometimes you get in Visual Studio gets confused about the defines I have to use to exclude code, because you can only have the implementation in one file, and sometimes you lose syntax highlighting and IntelliSense. All right, current used equals current used, and then we'll do. How do I want to do this? I need to R32 pixels per byte. And how many do I want it to be? let's do R32. Height per line equals size dot y divided by. No, we're not going to do that. 32 lines equals size dot y divided by. How many pixels do I want it to be? We'll start with, we'll do 20 divided, let's do 10. 10 divided by pixels per unit. Pixels per byte. 32 total pixels, or total width. The lines time, well, let's probably I need to add one to that. Line time size dot width, pixels per byte would be total width divided by current hue star. That seems correct. Yeah, I kind of understand that. I like to watch people stream development too, and sometimes it can be fun to try to figure out what they're doing and why they're doing it. Okay, I've got pixels per byte. All right, and now we need link, which is a very nice macro I have for cycling through a linked list. All right, so we've got allocation, and this will be arenas dot latest. Yeah. So this is going to show the most recent allocations first, which I think is okay. I might change that later though. Let's do 0 32 x was 0. Well, if you're learning something, it is productive. Hopefully, I'll be able to help you do that. If you need to read, write, or speak Greek, then studying Greek is productive. All right, we will do 32 pixels. For this allocation, it is pixels per byte times allocation length. Okay, so now we need to find out how many we have left. X pixels left. Well, I shouldn't use pixels. Oh well, I'll use pixels. X pixels left equals x size dot x minus. So they're not really pixels, this is units, but it's fine. The logic is still the same. Size dot x minus x minus, okay. While, wait, no. Hold on. We'll do this while true, because I didn't catch that. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer. Okay, so pixels. That's how many pixels for alloc. I'll do that. Pixels left this line. All right. R32 x pixels this alloc equals min pixels per alloc x pixels left this line. 0. Pixels for alloc equals minus. All right, and then we need to add outlined rect 2D. Give me my. There we go. All right. Position, center, size, color, outline color. So let me just copy that so I don't forget it. Since auto or IntelliSense isn't working for me right now. All right, so I'm going to draw list the center, which is, well, expose needs to be expose start equals divided by 2. I don't know if you're bad at jokes or if I'm bad at understanding them. So don't feel too bad. All right. All right. Position center needs to be expose plus x pixels this divided by 2. The size is going to be x pixels this alloc, and I need to add R32 line height. Size color, we will just do the color. Do that for now. Expose plus, oops. Pixels this out. If x pixels left this line is less than equal to 0, then we need expose equals, yeah, I need to add a y pose too. Equal size dot x, this needs to be size dot y. Y pose minus equal height. Expose equals expose start. Size dot x. Okay. Hopefully that will. What's going on here? Yeah, that's fine. size.x, size.w. Oh. What? Oh. CT-2 size. Got to do that. All right, let's step through this. All right, so we got our memory, which seems valid. Yep. All right. Size, that's a good size. Current use, that's a lot of bytes. All right, there's going to be 56 lines here. Total width. Whew. Pixels per byte, very small number, which is as expected. All right, pixels for allocation. So this one's going to be 70. Whoa, hold on. Size X. Oh. That's not going to work. We will need to make this 0. Just for consistency's sake, we will also do this here. Alright, start plus start minus. It's a macro that basically treats a linked list as a for loop. So for the start variable, and while the variable is not equal null, go to the next one. It just makes it easier to traverse a linked list in the forward direction. Tools, memory inspector, pixels for allocation. Oh wait, no, that needs to be plus. But I think this is working to the point where we could see what it looks like. Do you watch, Sean? Whoa. Oh, this needs to be plus. Offset. That's what it's called. Yeah, I started using his macros for loops, and I love them. They're just such a time saver. All right, that is obviously not correct. I mean, it's kind of almost correct. let's use different colors. Color red, color blue, green, yellow, cyan, purple, magenta. No, I don't have magenta. Orange. Alright, that'll work for now. Color index 0. And here's a demonstration of my compiling and hot loading. Alright, so it looks like I'm getting some gaps because there are some empty. Why are they so long? So the first one is almost right. It's a little too high. I think size divided by 2 minus divided by 2. Is that right? Let's just I don't know why it's so far up. Let's do something. That's horrible. List, offset, size, color green, color cyan. No, I had an error. So, oops. That's right. And size. Alright, so that's a problem. Why is it off like that? Why are you trying to avoid his stream? Alright, so I make the sizer, I add the sizer, I add the inspector, yeah. CT inspector, deep. Come on. Debug highlight, that's what I thought. Blue. Why is that not drawing anything? because I've got to recompile this. Alright, vector, okay. So that's weird. The offset it's sending me is wrong. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I was just using it wrong. All right, vect to pause equals offset plus a pause. Okay, got that. All right, so now it's positioned properly, but still not right, obviously. One, why is it not doing that? Line height equals if I should let's make this a little bit bigger. Criticizing everything. He is very opinionated, that is for certain. He does have an ego. He does believe he's right about everything, which, is, most of us do. When we have an opinion on something, we think we're right. He doesn't seem to be willing or able to be humble about his opinions, which, not everybody is, and that's fine. That's his personality. I found that's the case with a lot of people with high intelligence, is they find it hard to think that their conclusions might be wrong. So they're very adamant about their opinions and oftentimes very negative against people who disagree with those opinions. But I enjoy watching his streams. I've learned a lot from him, and appreciate that he streams. Yeah, yeah, he does go on rants a lot, and I can understand not wanting to listen to it. Let's see. I need to go back to. This needs to be divided by 2. Right now we're starting at the proper xy. But why is it starting expose equals oh, that's why. That needs to be 0. There we go. But now I'm too big. Let's go 12. 10. Still running out of 5. Oh man, I have a lot. A lot of allocations. I'm going to need to, yeah. Alright. Oh, goodness. Let's do that. Oh, and I should point out as well, back to Sean, I was not implying that he was wrong about the things he rants about. I do have some differing opinions on certain things, but I really don't want to get into it. But on a lot of things, he is, as far as I'm concerned, spot on. Display CX best size. Okay, come on, best size. We'll just call it best size. So I need to do this some more. Just copy this stuff. I don't know how much of that I want. All right. So we get the arena, then we get the size. We're going to make that a ZT. Oops. Height. And it's going to be 15. Should copy that. Lines not accurate. Total width. No, I need to have a debug. Byte width. Let's do 0.01 byte width, which, let's see how many. 1 times. So that'll be 1 unit per kilobyte. Or 1,000 units per megabyte. And this thing is like 500 megabytes, so it's going to be, wow, yeah. Let's add another 0. That's one. Oops. So that's 0.1, 104 per megabyte. I still think that's too much. So it'll be 10. Alright, we'll try with this. We can always adjust it later. Times dot I think how my scroll container works. Don't think I want this in best size. I think I actually want this in update. Let's see. To width. All right. Size stuff y equals 1. Total width divided by x. Times height. I think that will work. I think, actually, I don't know if my scrolled window works. Scroll window. I don't want it to be a scroll window. That's not what I want. I want inspector to be scroll container. Oops. Parent will be sizer. Scroll container behavior for size. Stretch horizontal is what I want. Yeah. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Alright, seems to be working. Let's see what happens if we make them a little larger. I need to change this. Color equals. Oops. Because it's not. There we go. And now we kind of get the idea. I think these are too big now. Let's go back to 15. Yeah, I'll change the colors. I was just using that because it's easier. But now we get an idea. Oops. We can see chunks of memory. And see a lot of small. I think if I'm going to make them black if it's freed. If dot is it freed? Freed equals 1, then color equals black. So we've got a lot of free memory here, which is decent. Oh, yellow is hard on the eyes. We'll make that dark. That is not dark yellow. Alright, we'll just make that. What other colors do I have? Dark green. There we go, dark green. Why is that gray? Should not be gray. Oops. All right. So that's global arena memory allocations. I should at the end let's do total size. Something's not right here. Oh, that's why. Total width. Lines equals total width divided by. So is that x? Or lines equals size. Pixels per byte needs to be byte width. Oops. And there, now we have, this is all the empty memory. Which, I don't know if I want to add that to. Alright, refresh. I think this will be dynamic. Yep, and it shows it as it goes. Yeah, see, now I've got a huge chunk of unused memory there. So it looks like that. Let's see if we load again. Yeah, it's really... I've got to be able to inspect these now. All right. I've got to redo the way file names are handled. Whoa. Oh, pardon me. All right, how do I want to do this? How many file names do I want to support? I can either keep an array of fixed-sized. I've got an idea. All right. This is. All right. We will do file name buffer. How big do I want it to be? We'll start out with 4. File name buffer pause. File names. How big do I want this to be? Start with 256. I need to change it. I can. And then that will. Should I? No. 32 file name hashes. File name sessions. Let me open this over here too. That's not what I wanted. This one is what I wanted. Okay. Look from Arena. CTM metallic set. Arena. File name. Let's see. Go back up here. All right, we are going to do I have that? I think that would be under file. I think that'll work. Okay, let's go back up here. Oh, come on. So, oh yes, I need to make arena. Arena dot buffer 0. What am I missing here? Stack needle, because it's not constant. Probably. All right. break. No. And index did this way. IDX -1. Now let's do IDX equals I. Here we'll just do this, or save us some code. If actually, yeah, I'm an idiot. I don't need this at all. I just need to. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I do need those. I'm incorrect. File name. Shows IDX equals 0. Alright, then I need to. And then equals the string copy into arena index equals arena name buffer plus arena. To arena dot return. Just start by doing that. I think I can just let me get the length. Then equals string len name only. Prevent buffer overload. Don't need that anymore. +1 adds the null terminator. And then alloc name equals IDX. I need to set that. Might be it, but it is not. Is it just file? Yeah, just file. Okay. Oh. +1. Oh, okay. All right, let's see how this works. All right. So we've got a file name that is null. Null file name. How is that? Oh, okay. If file name equals, let's change this. Early out. All right, so we got that. We got our hash. Len equals 10. That. Okay. Let me check to make sure this is still point valid. All right, that seems to be working. All right, one we already have a hash for. Yeah, that seems to be working. Which is good. All right, now let's debug into this. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah. Everything seems to be working. I need to add, I don't think my tooltips are working. I need to add a little tooltip. That'll tell me the size and the file. Let's add a little. Close this. We will add combo box GUI item info. I will be right back. sorry about that. We're having our gravel driveway fixed up, and the guy delivering the gravel just got here. So I had to show him where to dump all the rocks. Okay. So we have hover info, which is going to be a static text. We'll add it over here. We're going to make static text. Excuse me. Top sizer. Do that. Item set align. Line right. Sizer add item. Hover info. Top sizer. Hover info. That is loud. I have no idea what you just said. Is that Russian? I don't know. But welcome. If you can, please speak English so I can understand what you're saying. Add item. Hover info. No, this needs to be 1. Okay. Mem.hover info. If mem., hold on, a collision game point in, there we go. Point and pause. Pause. Give back to pause equals. Oops. Three item set. Tech label. Info. Char size. String byte. I think it's string bytes to string. Actually, let's hover info. We'll just make this 56. String. Buffer size string. Arena Do I need to pass in the total? I don't remember. Yeah, I pass in the total. Oops. String cat size. See how that works. It doesn't work at all. Oh. What's the problem here? Size is not. Oh. Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? String. Oh. Because that needs to be set to 0. Alright. So it's 204 megabytes. Currently used out of 512. Whoa. What happened? Like really over? Yeah, I might be. Let me increase that. Draw list. Where's the draw list? Alright, that's not the problem, it's something else. Okay, let's find out what it is. Hey, Dada. How are you? Text. What is the text? Why is that? I'm doing well, thanks. Did not make a whole lot of sense. Does this seem to be a particular one? Alright. Get rid of that. I'm working on the game I started last year, which is it's a hospital simulation game, like Prison Architect and RimWorld, the same as building idea, aesthetic. Right now, I'm working on a memory inspector. But I'm running into a bug and something. Let me go back here. It's not where I want to be. This is where I want to be. You know what? I bet. No, that can't be the problem. Yeah, that I've actually started from scratch on the game to use my new library that I've been working on for the past 9 months or so. So I don't have any workers currently. I focused on the building aspect first. That is not a problem. Yeah, I've kind of put any VR work on the back burner for now. I've only got about another hour that I can stream. Hopefully I get this done in that hour. But this problem, I don't know what's going on. Let's something about one of these is causing a problem. What is the text? Why is it adding it twice? Gerzeleg? How do you pronounce that? What do you mean it looks serious? It's a game. But I'm working on a memory inspector at the moment. Alright, size 14 megs. Hold on. And hover count equals 0. Let's see if for some reason this is. If hover count is greater than 1, we'll put a debug stop equal else. Alright. Yeah, that was a problem. No. Yep. Okay. How is that? Tile map 29. 28. It must be like in between. Alright, so tile map 28, 29. Yeah, I think when it was transitioning between the objects, there might be a one off by 1 pixel error in my collision detection. Okay, yeah. If I've got 3 equals 1, we're gonna make that 3 space. Free space. Don't need that. Okay. Now, why that's doing that, I don't know. Probably because I'm doing it here instead of here. Turn. Actually, you know what? I want this. To be at the end. Alright, so now the size stays to the right. Let's add do it this way instead. That way might look better. So now I can see that that's a tilemap C++.29. Let's go ahead and open tilemap 29. So that is the data for the pending items, the vertices. And that's for the actual item 21, item CPP 21, 21, which is the item cache for all the items we can have, 24 meg. Let's see, am I able to ignore that? My scroll wheel isn't working. Yes, okay, now I can scroll. Let's see what that is. Okay. 5889, that's 100 megabytes, 5889. Alright, that is the draw list, which is accurate. And then we have 300 megs free. Excuse me. So now I can see my memory usage. Let me see if I can stand this to be a little smaller. Let's make it 10. What does 10 look like? 10 might be too small. Let's try 12. 12's a little better. Except when you get small there. Let's see. We'll make it twice as big, so we can see the smaller allocations. It's still going to be tough to see all these. So that's a small draw list. 5889. Oops, wrong one. Yeah. See, I have an optimization from my static texts that create a draw list. Look, what this looks like at 4K. I know you guys aren't going to be able to see all this, but I'm just trying to get an idea of the size. thinking. I think what I want to do is, instead of having a fixed width per byte, I want to have a slider so I can zoom out to get an overview, and then I can zoom in and really see these kind of allocations in detail. So let's go ahead and do that. Close that. Yeah, this kills performance. This is a very graphically intensive way to do this. Where am I? Where do I need to go? Let's see. Debug profiler. No, here. All right. Let's add slider. Slider is going to look weird in this theme because I haven't added SparkCore yet. Wait, what am I doing? Slider make. Oh, no good. Make slider. Parent, which is the top sizer. Horizontal. Live value. Oh yeah, I can do that instead. That would make more sense. 32. Multiplier. Equals 1. Actually, we'll start out with 0.5. Okay, size.x equals 3. See how that looks. There we go. Oh, I do not want that to be 1, I want that to be 0. Can we center this? I think we can. Where is it? Align flag, UT align center. Do not grow. It did not center. That's weird. Now alignment might not be working. Check alignment. Aligning within sizer cell. Alright. Now I have that. Now I need to add my width, min and max. So min point. Let's do that. 0.1. All right. And let's. This will be a CT orb between min, max, there we go. Let's see how that works. Oops. So that kind of works. All right, yeah, that works. So that's 50K there. Let's make the maximum a little bit. Let's try that. Oh goodness. Yeah, that's too much. Alright, we'll just leave it at that for now. Maybe we'll try. Let's go away. Let's try 2. Twice as big. I just want to be able to see the smaller allocations. It's hard to scroll that little bit. Alright, so that's 580 bytes. So I can see those small ones. I apologize, I'm going to go full screen again here. Man, that is so slow. Yeah, okay. All right, I think that's going to work nicely. Okay. think I want the default to be somewhere around there. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. And you have all that leftover empty memory. Alright, I think this is going to be a big help. I don't think I'm going to add the actual inspecting of the memory. I don't know if that's even necessary. Although it might be nice to have the address start. Yeah, let's add that. Do it this way. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Add this. 32 should be plenty. I think it's start. Let's start. There we go. Yes, start. And do I? Yeah. Let's just add a couple of spaces there at the end. And just do that. And let's go ahead and make this bigger just so I don't have to worry about it in the future if I want to add anything else. That's not good. Alright. What did I do? That does not make a whole lot of sense. Come on now. Let's see how many. Yeah, it doesn't. All right, what's going on here? That works fine, but when I add this, it's not somehow overflowing that, is it? It's 512 characters. There's no way that should be overflowing. It's obviously causing a problem somewhere. Let's just copy that and see what happens if I do
something about that text it doesn't like. It must be. Let's just see if it's anything. J. Oops, J. Oh, I think I know what the problem is. Hover info, that shouldn't be doing that. Hover info. I think I need to pick the definition. Behavior flags, max charge, 12. Yeah, I need to. All right. Static text. Need to fix that because that definitely should not be causing a problem. Static text, where's static text? This is not going to be easy to test for. Static text. Is there any way I could do that? Insert. This may add a lot of overhead to debug build. String in item.label is less than item.drawList dot command size divided by 2. All right. A semicolon there. Okay, so is that what I need? Yeah. All right. All right, let's go back into info. Let's see what happens. Now I should get an assert. Yes, okay. This means you need to set the draw the next charge and
Structure could be higher. Alright. Let's go back there. Alright. So now if I run into this problem again, I don't have to debug it. Alright, so now I've got the memory address. Let's clean that up a little bit. Make it look more attractive. Like that. Let's use space. Use that. And then we'll just add that to the end. This we don't need anymore. Let's see how that looks. There's too many here. I don't need that. Alright, so we've got the size of the Hubbard allocation, the file and line number it's at, the address of the memory, and then the total overall. Oh, yeah, I need to fix that. So free space. Megabytes of free space. All right, it's working out nicely. I think I'm going to call it a stream. It's been, how long? 3 hours, just over 3 hours I've been streaming. I've got some stuff to get done. I may or may not stream again this afternoon. We'll see how much of what I need to get done I can get done. I appreciate everyone who hung out with me today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting and chatting with me. If you liked my stream, please follow. There is a button somewhere on the screen to follow me. And follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description below the video here. When will I stream? I'm going to try to stream in the mornings like I did today on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I think that's going to be the days I can most consistently stream. And I may stream on some afternoons. I'm on the eastern part of the U.S., so it is 10:15 a.m. for me right now. My wife has stuff to do this evening, so I've got a few extra hours tonight that I might use to stream. We'll see. Hey, Highway, I am actually just signing off. Thanks for coming in, but I'm taking a break. I've got a conference call in 45 minutes I've got to prep for. But yeah, maybe next time I stream I'll be optimizing the memory usage of the game to try to keep the memory footprint as low as I can. then after that, I've got a to-do list, so we'll work on it. All right, thanks, Dante. I will do that. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.